Congress and the president's inaction, and we the people's inaction, has created a vacuum and a perfect storm where dying dinosaur media, the scared Democratic Party that the public's realigning against, and foreign governments have now colluded to bring in total internet control. I know Congress is aware that Senator Warner has circulated plans to have the Democrats take over the web if they win the midterms. I'm sure you've seen Senator Murphy say that, quote, I'm the tip of an iceberg of conservative news that needs to be banned. I'm sure you know all this is going on. I'm sure you know that Google's moving to China and setting up a censorship search engine there, and that their own executives have leaked in mainstream news here, but it got no attention, that they're helping set up censorship engines here because they're going to unify it with China. China is now the giant sucking sound. And because we won't stand up for true net neutrality, and because we won't stand up for a true Internet Bill of Rights, we're no longer the leader in the world by advocating our responsibility by stepping down and letting China and the EU and the big banks and corrupt Silicon Valley, trained by the big universities, the big America-hating groups, to want to silence flyover country. Communist China and the EU are taking control of the internet, not just around the world, but here in the United States. And Congress's inaction has created a huge vacuum that has green-lighted Google, Apple, and many companies that originated inside the United States to openly move to authoritarian China and to now build censorship engines, to have the code keys to the Apple iCloud. That's access to all of your private information in the hands of the Chinese government. Meanwhile, the EU is bringing in regulatory control in the name of people's privacy. Has nothing to do with it, with giant fines against Google and others and Facebook and the billions of dollars to make them regulatorily comply with EU rules that censor speech. And Facebook and others have hired former senior Stasi members, can't make this up, to help report people that criticize radical Islam or who are nationalist so they can be arrested and or fined. So I'm reaching out to Congressman Matt Gaetz and Congressman Jim Jordan and many others who seem to be intelligent and pro-American, but on this subject have not really said enough, because they're spinning it like, well, these are private companies. No, they've said they operate as public squares. They operate as utilities. The left is saying silence conservatives from the public square. They admit that I am the first domino. I'll show you some news articles, mainstream news here in a minute. It's not just Alex Jones saying it. And I'm being silenced because I've been beating the drum for this. What should Congress do? Well, you should hold hearings on the subject. And you should look at how many members of Congress themselves have been completely shadow banned or have been governed, curtailed down over 90%. And that Breitbart studies show conservative sites on Facebook, Google, and Apple platforms like Breitbart and the Daily Caller and others have been cut back 93% from 80% just a few months ago on their reach. They're not letting people communicate. They're not letting users on Facebook go to the Breitbart website or the InfoWars website and share it. They're getting in front of them preemptively. These companies engage in false advertising. They advertise as the public square as long as you've played by their rules. But their rules are all subjectively put into place by SJW leftists that have been hired to run and captain these systems. So again, Congress and the president's inaction, and we the people's inaction, has created a vacuum and a perfect storm where dying dinosaur media, the scared Democratic Party that the public's realigning against, and foreign governments have now colluded to bring in total internet control. I know Congress is aware that Senator Warner has circulated plans to have the Democrats take over the web if they win the midterms. I'm sure you've seen Senator Murphy say that, quote, I'm the tip of an iceberg of conservative news that needs to be banned. I'm sure you know all this is going on. I'm sure you know that Google's moving to China and setting up a censorship search engine there, and that their own executives have leaked in mainstream news here, but it got no attention, that they're helping set up censorship engines here because they're going to unify it with China. China is now the giant sucking sound. And because we won't stand up for true net neutrality, and because we won't stand up for a true Internet Bill of Rights, we're no longer the leader in the world by advocating our responsibility by stepping down and letting China and the EU and the big banks and corrupt Silicon Valley, trained by the big universities, the big America-hating groups, to want to silence flyover country. This is devastating information. Here's some of the articles just today. Twitter purges accounts across the platform again. Anyone that had ever had any strikes or ever had any problems, well, now you're being completely banned. Social media platform Twitter has begun banning a large number of accounts from the website, specifically focusing on accounts that have previously been banned or have received suspensions. And they're going after everybody, from Gavin McInnes to Laura Loomer. And then continuing here, here's another one, Politico. Welcome to the new era of global digital censorship. It's dangerous to ask tech companies to decide what's legitimate free speech. Well, they don't. The Democratic Party, the Southern Poverty Law Center, the ADL, Snopes, Media Matters, run by George Soros, they all have created databases. They have now been brought in as the fact checkers to flag information. And then you know the famous disinfo that they're constantly getting caught involved in. If the sky is blue, they say it's red. So I'm asking Congress, I'm asking the public, I'm asking everyone to take this information and to investigate it yourself and to do something, because the First Amendment is so critical. And I want to add this right now. We're live on Friday, but we're going to take the video report here. We're going to post it at the front page of Infowars.com, along with other key reports that all of you can go get the link to. We're going to post them as articles on Infowars.com. And we need you to send these video reports to Congress. We need you to go to the congressman's Facebooks, their Twitters, everywhere, and communicate with them. They're trying to censor us, but they can't stop you going around them directly to them digitally, or directly to the Capitol, or directly to their home offices. Go in, sit down with their chief of staff, go sit down with their people and show them this. And whoever does this will be the champion of the First Amendment and will get incredible support from the left and right. The left at the grassroots level, who aren't complete tyrants, are upset about this. Noam Chomsky's upset about this. This is dangerous, folks. This is serious. Again, Apple banned Alex Jones, Infowars. Then the dominoes started to fall. Vox calls for everything I do to be banned. And then now they brag, get rid of all the conservatives. And I've got articles in my stack today where congressional candidates across the country aren't even allowed to communicate on Facebook or Twitter with their users. They can't put out their campaign ads. Those are blocked. They can't even pay to have them run, but Democrats can all run their ads. Now, that is a donation in kind. Imagine if ABC, National News, you tried to buy a political ad with them, and they said no, but then they took your competitor's ad. Imagine if a local CBS affiliate, you tried to go buy a bunch of ads for your run for governor, say, in Massachusetts. And they say, we're not letting you because you're a Republican, but we're going to let the Democrat run. Come on, folks. This is racketeering. This is unfair trade practices. This is criminal. This is corrupt. This is out of control. And these ads that are being run, one we're showing right now, are Asian Americans and others showing their families and how they love America and how they're winners and how they're not victims. And the Democrats are saying, you're not going to run those ads because you're telling America that they're not demoralized. You're telling America they're winners. You're telling America that you're doing a great job. And the ad we're showing right now for TV viewers, for radio listeners, is on Infowars.com. It's been banned. Good, wholesome ads of congresswomen from Tennessee talking about how they love America, how they love their family. And good conservative candidates from places like New York, banned from even advertising, banned from the marketplace. Oh, but they're private companies. They can do what they want. So the newspaper wouldn't take your money to run an ad? That wouldn't be unfair trade practices? That wouldn't be discrimination? That wouldn't be a scandal? That wouldn't be something you talk about? Congress is asleep at the switch, and this is the big issue. The president has tried. He's spoken some about how shadow banning is illegal. Twitter's just playing games with me right now to act like I violated their rules so they can go on the news and misrepresent what I've said and not show it. Jack Dorsey, Jones, says he wants to kill the media with guns. I know it's terrible, but I suspended him for it. So when they do finally ban me, it looks legitimate. I never threaten anybody with guns. It's a lie. I said, Antifa says they're coming to your house to kill Congress members and law enforcement. Have your firearms ready to protect yourself. That's the Second Amendment. But everything's like a big university now, a big brainwashing center. Congress should take action on the universities being anti-free speech. These bullies, these mobs of betas are out of control. You know, in the land of the beta male, these mobs of little cowards are kings. In the land of the beta male, censorship is numero uno. In the land of the beta male, Brian Stelter's God. But in the land of rebels, in the land of freedom, the land of success, the land of alpha males, InfoWars is number one. We are proud to be rebels. We're proud to be hunted. We're proud to be attacked. I'm honored to be in the crosshairs. I swore before God that I would stand against the globalists, and as long as God gives me strength and air in my lungs and my big red heart full of light, I'll march on forward, stumbling sometimes, but always with grim determination, climbing the hill, always getting stronger even as I get weaker, even as I prepare to go into our final launch phase. And the enemy is sharpening their knives. I enter the arena with love in my heart and light in my eyes. Please support us. We'll be right back. Look at that.